Hello. I just started romancing Mr. Bridgerton. I just finished the prologue. I'm about halfway through chapter 1, so right at the very beginning. This is the fourth Bridgerton novel. It's actually the first that I've read, though, since Bridgerton season 1 came out. So this is going to be a very different experience for me in terms of having seen the first two seasons of Bridgerton and jumping back into the book universe and getting to know these characters in the book series as opposed to in the television series. I'm very excited to kind of see how that is and how the characters are different. I do think that the biggest difference and the biggest impact on the stories that's different from the book versus the TV show will be that Eloise knows that Penelope is Lady Whistledown going into Colin and Penelope's romance in Bridgerton, the Netflix series. But Eloise does not know that Penelope is Lady Whistledown at the beginning of this book. So I'm very fascinated to see how that factors into the different storytelling from one or the other. I'm going to keep reading and see how I feel about this. And I'm definitely, obviously, very excited for the show, but definitely just excited to see how Julia Quinn writes it in the book. I will be back for an update when I'm further along in this book. See you later. Okay, reading update. I just finished chapter 11. I am 180 pages into romancing Mr. Bridgerton. Started a little slow. Main focus, obviously, the Colin and Penelope romance, but I was a bit surprised about the lack of other character involvement in the story, and I think that's the show Bridgerton bleeding into some of my expectations. I think clearly it's building up. We just got to where Cressida claims to be Lady Whistledown, and I think that's clearly going to become a bigger part as the book goes on. I imagine the romance is going to pick up here pretty quickly within the next couple of chapters, and that Colin will figure out that Penelope is Lady Whistledown before the rest of the town does. I also have a theory that Lady Danbury figured out, like put it together in her head, that Penelope is Lady Whistledown while Cressida was claiming to be Lady Whistledown. I think Lady Danbury maybe was able to suss that out from Penelope's reaction. I'm excited to see if that's the case or not. That is my current theory. But I'm excited to keep reading and to see how this plays out. So I'll be back. I just finished chapter 18. I really enjoyed the ending of chapter 18. I really think that they've reached a point in their romance where I'm really on board now. I really struggled with the last couple of chapters, I think just due to the lack of communication between Colin and Penelope. I think that they are on the same page when it comes to some of their thoughts, but they aren't communicating a lot of what they're thinking to one another, where they aren't talking about how they're feeling or what they're thinking or the motivations behind some of their actions. Especially Colin, I feel like he's like acting very rashly and very quickly, and he's not explaining any of his motivation to Penelope, nor is he trying to understand where she's coming from with some of her actions, which is quite frustrating. I do think one area that I think the TV show in season 3 is going to handle things better, in my opinion, is some of the friendship aspects. I am still kind of struggling with the fact that they didn't really build up Colin and Penelope's friendship or connection before they jumped straight to the romance piece. Even though Penelope has always loved Colin and Colin has always been nice to Penelope, they didn't really have a real bond of friendship there, where I feel like the show is really going to grow that in the first part of season 3. But I do really like where the end of chapter 18 left off, where they both confessed that they loved one another. I think that's a huge step for Colin, and I think Penelope hopefully realizing that she deserves this and it's not just something she stumbled into and Colin kind of feels bad for her or feels that he has to be with her, but that he truly loves her. So I'm excited to see where this ends. And the next time you see me, I will have finished. So I just finished Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. I really enjoyed the last third of the book, I think. I think that was my favorite part. I really liked a lot of the pieces and how some of the story came together. I think my biggest struggle in the first 60% of the book, was with Colin and some of his motivations. He came off very like angry or controlling and had big kind of swings in his emotions that I felt as a reader I didn't truly understand at the beginning. It wasn't really communicated in his inner monologues or any of his inner thoughts why he was feeling that way. Once it's more revealed and you get to understand more that it's coming from more of a place of jealousy and that he supports a lot of Penelope's work in writing, but he's jealous that he hasn't been able to find the same success that she has through Lady Whistledown. I think that you get to understand him a bit more. I also think especially once he talks to Penelope and they have some conversations about why he's so angry about her being Lady Whistledown and why he said some of the things he said, I think that kind of made me come around to him and their story more. I really appreciated that context. I think after they get married and there's more it's more conversations between the two of them about their motivations and their feelings, and they're dealing with Cressida knowing that Penelope is Lady Whistledown. I think that part of the book I really appreciated. I am so interested to see how they deal with a couple of these plot lines in the show. The first thing that I think will be quite interesting to see, obviously, is the Colin and Penelope romance. How they're going to deal with that in the show versus in the book. In the show, they seem to be more friends than they are in the book. In the book, they're more just kind of acquaintances and like have small conversations, but nothing too deep, nothing too like really as friends. Whereas in the show, Colin and Penelope are portrayed more so as friends, and you get to see some of the moments. And over the past 2 seasons, we've seen them develop their friendship. So I think there's more of a place to start than there was with the book. And then number 2 is Eloise and Penelope's friendship. In the book, it's very light. There's not too much turmoil. They're friends. It doesn't get too deep there at all. But Eloise is definitely a big supporting character in the book. Whereas in the show, they've had a major falling out. Eloise does know that Penelope is Lady Whistledown already. So I'm very interested to see how that plays into the show and into how that affects Penelope as Lady Whistledown, but also Colin and Penelope's romance. And then third, just the whole Lady Whistledown piece. So in the show, Eloise knows that Penelope is Lady Whistledown. In the book, when book 4 started, no one knew Penelope was Lady Whistledown. So it's I'm very interested to see how that plays out. And I'm also interested to see if in season 3 of the show, especially perhaps in part 2, if they do reveal to the ton that Penelope is Lady Whistledown, or is that going to be a later revelation that they're going to share for later seasons? My prediction is that Colin will find out this season, maybe in the latter half of part 2. But I'm not sure yet if I think that everyone in Bridgerton is going to find out that Penelope's Lady Whistledown. That I'm interested to see. Although I could see that a change that they could make in the show, because Eloise knows, is that Cressida's trying to find out who Lady Whistledown is, and Eloise will play more of a save Penelope and her reputation, and the reveal of Lady Whistledown, and play a role in that more so in the book. Colin is kind of like the savior and comes up with the plan in that regard. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. Really excited for the show and for the first 4 episodes. I will definitely have a video later coming on my reaction and thoughts on the first 4 episodes of season 3. But yeah, overall I thought, it's a good book. It's a good addition to the Bridgerton series. I don't think it's not my favorite. I think definitely Benedict and Sophie and Kate and Anthony still have my top spots in the Bridgerton romances. So I hope you enjoyed my mini Romancing Mr. Bridgerton reading vlog. I will definitely have more Bridgerton content for reading the next books, as well as my reactions to part 1 and eventually part 2 of season 3 of Bridgerton. So if you want that content, you can like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.